If you could step back in time, all the way to Christmas of 1924, what do you think you would see? I can tell you this, you'd find a holiday that looks almost nothing like the one we know today. And yet, somehow, it felt more magical, more meaningful, and far, far more cherished. 100 years ago, Americans celebrated Christmas with traditions that have almost completely disappeared. They found joy in things so simple that we've almost forgotten they exist. So today, let's take a quiet walk back in time to a holiday long forgotten. A century ago, Christmas wasn't something you bought from a store. It wasn't delivered in a cardboard box or assembled with a tiny Allen key. Christmas was homemade. Literally, families made nearly everything you can imagine. They crafted paper ornaments, carefully snipping and folding. They strung long garlands of popcorn and cranberries, a tedious but beautiful task. Mothers and grandmothers would spend their evenings by the soft glow of lamplight, knitting warm scarves and mittens, or sewing little cloth dolls with yarn for hair. Fathers, after a long day of work, would retreat to the quiet of a workshop or a corner of the barn. There, with a piece of wood and a well-loved carving knife, they'd create small miracles. A little wooden horse, a spinning top that seemed to dance forever, or a simple toy train, each piece sanded smooth by hand. Even the presents were wrapped with a certain resourcefulness. Children would wrap their small, precious gifts in old newspaper or brown paper from the general store because shiny, colorful wrapping paper was a luxury few could afford. They'd tie it all up with a bit of twine. But here's the thing. None of it felt cheap. It felt priceless, because every single object, from the star on the tree to the doll in a child's arms, had a piece of someone's heart in it, okay? It was made with time, with care, and with love, okay? What about the centerpiece of it all? The Christmas tree. In 1924, Christmas trees weren't mass-produced, pre-lit, or sold in a pop-up lot on a busy street corner. Getting the tree was a community event, an adventure. Whole families would bundle up in their thickest coats, scarves pulled up to their noses. They'd de-pile into a wagon or a rickety old truck and head out to a nearby field or into the hushed quiet of a forest. The children would run ahead, their shouts echoing in the cold, crisp air, searching until they found the perfect tree. And that perfect tree was rarely perfect at all. It was often a little crooked, a bit sparse in places, or leaning just slightly to one side. But that imperfection was exactly what made it theirs. It had character. Decorating, it was another kind of magic. The trees were lit with hand-dipped candles. Yes, it was dangerous, and families were incredibly careful. But can you imagine how beautiful it was? It's a soft, flickering glow of real candlelight dancing on the branches of a real pine tree. It created a feeling of warmth and wonder that you just can't buy in a box today. They'd hang strings of nuts and berries, colorful paper angels made by the kids, and stars crafted from shiny tinfoil. Most families only owned a precious few glass ornaments, maybe brought over from the old country, which were unwrapped with the utmost care each year. The smell of fresh pine filled the entire house, a scent that was, and still is, the pure essence of Christmas. And that smell, it would mix with something else. It's the incredible, unforgettable aroma coming from the kitchen. A century ago, Christmas baking wasn't just about making food. It was about continuing a legacy. It was tradition in its most delicious form. Imagine the smells, rich, dark molasses cookies, spiced with ginger. Pies filled not with canned fruit, but with dried apples and raisins that had been carefully preserved from the autumn harvest. Gingerbread made completely from scratch. The dough rolled out on a floured countertop. The air would be thick with the warm, spicy scent of cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg, a fragrance that filled every corner of the house. And, the best part, families didn't just bake for themselves. They baked to share. It was an act of community. Neighbors exchanged baskets filled with their best creations. Church members traded loaves of sweet bread and coffee cakes after the Sunday service. Kids with cheeks red from the cold, would be sent to deliver fresh baked treats to the widows and elderly couples down the road. Their small act of kindness, a gift in itself. Christmas didn't just taste like gingerbread and cinnamon. It tasted like community, because it was community. Now, you might be thinking, what about the gifts? We live in an age where Christmas morning can look like an explosion in a toy factory. But in 1924, it was the complete opposite. A child might wake up on Christmas morning to find just a few things waiting for them. Maybe one toy lovingly made or carefully saved for. Perhaps one book, a portal to a new world. An orange is sweet, juicy, exotic treat in the dead of winter. A practical gift, like a new pair of hand-knitted socks. And if they were very, very lucky, a single peppermint stick. And you know what? They were thrilled, absolutely overjoyed. They didn't judge Christmas by the pile of presents under the tree, okay? They judged it by the feeling of waking up to something that was made just for them, or something that their parents had worked and saved for all year long. Ask anyone old enough to remember those times, and they'll tell you one gift given from the heart meant more than 20 chosen from a catalog. The value wasn't in the price tag, but in the love that came with it. The magic of Christmas wasn't just found inside the house. A huge part of it was happening right outside the front door. Winter itself was a main character in the story of a 1924 Christmas. There were no screens, no video games, no social media feeds to scroll through. The entertainment was real, and it was glorious. Kids spent their days building massive snow forts, their laughter muffled by the falling snow. They'd race their simple wooden sleds down steep, snowy hills until their legs ached. They'd skate on frozen ponds until their toes went numb inside their boots, their breath turning to clouds of steam in the icy air. The only notification they got was the sound of a mother calling from the back porch that dinner was ready and it was time to come inside. The world felt bigger back then, or maybe we just paid more attention to the small wonders right in front of us. As the day faded into night, Christmas Eve brought a special kind of quiet. It wasn't loud or busy or chaotic. It was peaceful. Its families, dressed in their Sunday best, would walk to church under the soft glow of gas street lamps, or, if they lived in the country, under a brilliant canopy of stars. You could hear the sound of carols echoing through the walls of small wooden chapels, voices joined together in familiar, comforting songs. Homes glowed with light from lanterns in the windows, the dying embers of a fireplace, and the soft, flickering candlelight from the tree. There was no rush, no last-minute online shopping, no frantic wrapping. There was just a feeling of stillness, of reverence, of being together. Christmas wasn't an event to be managed. It was a feeling to be experienced. Looking back now, it's clear that Christmas 100 years ago wasn't grand or extravagant. It wasn't about having the most or the best, but it was intentional. It was handmade. It was shared, and it was deeply, deeply meaningful. Of course, it wasn't a perfect time. Life was hard. People struggled, and for many families, money was incredibly tight. But maybe that's exactly why Christmas felt so magical. Because in a world that was often difficult, people needed that light. They needed that hope, that joy, and that connection more than ever. And maybe, deep down, in our own busy, complicated world, still do. Before we wrap up, I want to ask you something. What old Christmas tradition do you wish would come back? Maybe it's a specific food your grandmother used to make, a certain decoration, a song, or just a feeling you remember from your own childhood. Share your memories and thoughts in the comments below. I truly love reading them, okay? And if you enjoyed this little trip back through time, please give this video a like and consider sharing it with someone who might appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you daren't miss the next nostalgic story. We have some incredible chapters of the past coming up soon, and you won't want to miss a single one. Thanks for watching.